Okay, let's see if the stream is live. Just refresh that. Seems to be live on OBS. I'm just trying to see if it's on YouTube. Which it's not showing me at the moment. It's so weird. I am so terrible with this live streaming gig. Let me try and open the stream from OBS, I guess. If I can figure out where. Because if the stream is not live, but it should be live. Let me just go into my channel. It might be a bit weird. Sorry if you guys hear me chatting. Just mute myself quickly. Okay, so the stream is live. So why does this not show it in my YouTube studio? My voice is a bit coarse as well. Damn. Let's see. Live streams. Go to live stream, go live. There we go. Alright, I think I've found it. Good evening. There we go. Alright, stream is good. Healthy, everything is ready. So, welcome to the stream. So, I am using something like a... What is this? You need to change the video resolution. Current resolution of... Expected video resolution is... that's fine. That's fine. That shouldn't be too much of an issue. Alright, let's head back into what we are all actually here for, and that is to do some Containerlab stuff, and then potentially do some Gothic Remake. So first thing I want to do is just boot up my Linux VM, or Ubuntu, and once that's up, I've removed the VMs from the previous stream that I did because it kind of doesn't serve any purpose. There's extra space and it's doing exactly what I'm doing on this normal VM. And it's not like this VM's any special or anything. I've removed this thing so many times and just reinstall it. It's just got the same name basically. So let's log in. And then once we're logged in, should be quick to just get everything up and running. I mean, I think I've got Winbox working for this as well already, so that should be fine. I don't have the Containerlab apps installed on this VM, but I'm not too bothered about that. I actually prefer using the Visual Studio extension or Visual Studio Code extension for Containerlab. It's just as good. I mean, I'm sure the app is good, but it's kind of nice to have this just like your same workspace where you're building the topology and then switching through the stuff and looking at the canvas. Like, I really like that. So I did have a MikroTik container lab set up, or a topology. Just got a silly name, a couple of CHRs, and they're all just connected to each other. But when we start it up, it'll look pretty cool. The startup config is really minimal. It's literally just, I think, ROM-on and identities that have been set. Everything else is pretty much the default. All right, let's have a look. Let's have a look. I'm pretty sure I've deployed it. Did I click deploy? I'm sure I did. What's wrong? Oh, right. It's already been deployed. There we go. I should have just done that. Let's go into our little running lab. And whoa, that looks cool. So I built this a while ago, but I've got some ideas with what I want to do here. Just just for starters, we just want to build up like a little ISP core network, and then just have some customer edge stuff, and you know, normal spiel, normal thing that a lot of people tend to do with their ISP networks. There's a good chance that I might, even though I don't want to get into that whole IPv4 versus IPv6 war, but yeah, one of those things. Let's quickly log in. And just quick as SSH, or let's just use Winbox quickly. Let's go into Winbox, CD, downloads, Winbox, Linux, run, Winbox. Oh, hang on. That's Winbox Windows. I think I've just got it on my desktop as Winbox Linux. Winbox. And there we go. Nice, easy. Winbox is up and running. So let's quickly change into one of the devices. I think I saw... Well, we can pick up one of the IPs, but it doesn't matter. I might add something like a management MikroTik, just that it's one thing that I can always just Winbox to, and then you can see all the devices from Ramon. But maybe we'll do it in this lab as well. Let's just quickly jump onto Winbox. And let me try and connect to 172.20.2010 admin, and let's see what is going on here. It's just got its neighbors. Like I said, it's got pretty basic config, so I could either just look at the terminal, do an export, and again show you it's literally just the IP address was configured by Containerlab. That's like a management IP. Even though I don't really see that IP, I think this is like a natted IP inside the Docker environment, and then that goes and links up to the actual IP that Containerlab assigned to. Because if I look at Containerlab, it's like I connected to what, 172.20.20.10 or something like that. And that's definitely not the IP address that's on the MikroTik, but somehow it works. And I can also break out to the internet using, I think, .29 as my next hop. So let's just quickly test that. I do like IP route add destination. Oh, can I zoom in some more? This is one thing that I dislike about Winbox terminal. It's quite difficult to, well, not difficult, it's just not nice to navigate around. Which MikroTik am I on? Because I'll just quickly SSH onto it from my Linux machine. So 2010, that's PE01. PE01 is this guy, so let's just SSH to it. But now I'm going through the Visual Studio Code SSH, which is also not, I'm sure you can configure it, but it's not something that I hang out in. So let's just go on to a new terminal window, and let's just SSH. What's nice is that we can use the CLab hostname and default password admin, and there we go. We're inside our little MikroTik PE01. And if I do an export again, nothing special. That's added by Containerlab. IP has been added by Containerlab. The DHCP client's been added by the Containerlab. Just the identity and Ramon I added with a startup config. So let's do I just want to test and see if it actually has internet. So IP route add destination. Gateway is 172.31.255.29. And that should give us internet, which it does, which is good. Man, my throat feels so dry. Sorry, guys. We just have a sip. I might also just quickly mute the microphone to just quickly have a cough. Hope that was a microphone, else that would be quite annoying if I just coughed in everybody's ear. Alright, so next step is we got internet. what do I want to do? Just build up this little ISP network, because I need to add all of the IP addresses and stuff anyways that's on Visual Studio. So let's just do this nice viewport thing, put code on the other side. Just pop that there. And can I close that? Can I hide that? Hang on a minute. Hang on a minute. Yeah, I could just hide that panel. Gonna pop it back there. That should make it a bit easier to just navigate around our network and just add the IP addresses as they are. And then when I'm done adding everything, I'll just save that as the startup configs so that I can boot it up with the configs we're adding. Really, really cool. So MikroTik PE01, just a few basic details. First thing we want to do is just add a couple of IPs. So let's add our loopback IP address. Just want to have another look at the IP address print. Just make sure. Ooh. That shouldn't cause any issues. I just noticed now that it's using the same type of IP address format that I use for my loopback interfaces, but that shouldn't cause too much of an issue. I might even do something like change the loopbacks to some Martian address like 192.0.0.0, something like that. But let me just add it as the way it is on the canvas at the moment. So IP address, add address 172.31.255.251 on our Allo interface. Cool. Loopback interface added. Now let's add some IPs to our Ethernet interfaces. I'm not going to worry too much about the customer facing stuff yet, like the CEs. I just want this little block, this AS1337 to be able to like talk to all of its devices inside its network. That's where I want to just get to. So next step is let's add our link addresses between our other nodes. So IP address, add address 10.0.0. I should make the core devices take the provider devices take the first IPs. So what I can do is 10.0.0.4 slash, well no, it's not going to be a 4, it's going to be, it's a /31, it's not a /30. So .2 can be P01, and then PE01 is .3/31. And then I can just add on Ether2. Yeah, looks good to me. I could even add something like a comment if I wanted to, but I don't really have to. Let's do IP address, add address 10.0.0.4, which is ironic, because that's the link going down to PE02, and that will be Ether3. Add that. So IP's added. Pretty basic actually. So I'm not going to have any network reachability just with IP addressing, so I might just add OSPF as well just to get everything up and running. I'm just building this and hello. I'm just building this topology that I've set up before, but it's literally just IP addressing the canvas for a little MikroTik network. So I just want to set this up so that I have this ISP network kind of talking inside, and then we'll start messing around. And I just want to save those configs in a startup file, and then I'm going to see if I can upload that somewhere, like to maybe GitHub or something, and then people can download it and mess around with it as well. I feel like that's what I want to do with these labs, just make it everywhere publicly available and everybody can just mess around. I might make like little scenarios as well, where you can have certain things in the topology that's broken, and then I'll have like a fully working topology that you can just deploy as well to see what the fixes were. I think that could be cool as well. There's so much stuff that I want to do with the labs. There's also AI, the AI agents and all that stuff. I know a lot of people are starting to use AI more in their networks to actually validate configurations and, you know, just do like those basics things to make sure like interface health is fine. And I'm totally fine with that. But what I want to do with the AIs is I want to like challenge them almost. I want to have like a showdown with the AIs. So I want to break things in Containerlab potentially, and maybe have an AI see what I'm doing or see what's broken and then try and fix it. And then the same thing, I want the AI to also break stuff and then see how fun that could be, because I think that could be really cool. Like almost have 1v1s with the AIs, if that makes sense. Anyways, let me just get back to adding IPs to my topology. So first the IPs, then the OSPF, and once we have that, then we can start adding a few more things. Maybe just like some basic MPLS as well. And a few things. So next up is routing. Because we did test out the OSPF in the last stream, I think. We did have some devices that was up and running and learning addresses, so that was quite neat. Routing OSPF. So it's first instance that we add. I can just use the default instance. I do think I need to set my router ID, because that was an issue I had in the lab last time, was the router ID, it pulled it off of that WAN interface, that NATed IP thing that is being assigned by the Docker network. So they all had the same router ID, and then they were just like stuck in an X-start state. Yeah, I would love to test AI's limit. Like, there's a few people like John Capo Bianco that does a lot of AI networking, and he advocates for it heavily. I mean, he might be doing it too much, too heavily, but you know, he's really passionate about automation and AI with networks. So it's really cool to see that as well. But I would just love to see like how the AI thinks when you're actually, you know, throwing spanners in the works. Because I think in a picture perfect world, AI is really good. It's the perfect tool for everything, because it can just spin up the configs, and if the data is even and everything's just working perfectly, then AI is probably the best thing that you can have. But unfortunately, in a world where we as people sometimes take shortcuts, sometimes do things a bit differently, sometimes change things, or you need to make something work. There's something that needs to work now, and you need to make a plan around it. And I think those scenarios, AI is like, I think that's why we at least can still be sticking around for a little bit until they gain that level of understanding of things. All right, so routing OSPF instance, add, and then I just want to add a router ID, and my ID is just going to be my loopback interface. Easy peasy. So 172.31.255.251 for this guy. And we can just do routing OSPF area, add, and that instance is going to use this default instance we just added. Sorry, I'm just going to mute the mic again for a second. My voice, my throat's like really hoarse for some reason. I think it's the air has just been quite dry recently. Sorry about that. And then we do want to do a routing OSPF interface template, add. And with the template, the only things we want to really set is our interfaces, which is going to be Ether 2, Ether 3, and our loopback interface. And then we just want to set our area, which is that OSPF area 1, the default area. And is there anything else I want to set? I might want to set the type to point-to-point BTP. And that should be fine. Just do a little export. We've got some IPs. We've got internet out through this PE. IP neighbor discovery settings. I can have a look at that. It's I wonder. I think I get what you mean. Let's quickly go into Winbox. I can have a look now. So I think it's in tools, if I'm not mistaken, and then Is that, oh, IP neighbor discovery settings. Okay, let's have a look. IP neighbors discovery settings. So that might actually be why it does do CDP, LLDP, and MNDP. Interface static. Maybe if I set it to all. I wonder. Let me apply that, have a look. Let me disconnect from this Marketer quickly and see if I see it in my neighbors now. So I'm not seeing this guy in the neighbors list, but that's fine. I'll figure it out, or I might even ask the guys in the Containerlab Discord. They are really friendly. They're a really friendly bunch. They're very helpful, and you can see it's community driven. Like there's people that ask a question. Many times, somebody from the Containerlab team would even respond and say, "Hey, try this, do this," but they don't do it in that. I don't want to say smug way that some companies, or not. It's not even that they're a company. It's that sometimes, but I'm not sure if you guys know what I mean, but if you deal with I don't want to make an example of a specific community. It's just sometimes online, if you engage with certain communities, you know, there's these almost I don't want to say elitist, but there's people they're not very welcoming to people asking new or dumb questions, and then it feels very off-putting when you try something new. And I haven't had that with the Containerlab team. They're really good. I've been watching them for a while as well. All right, let me just get back onto my train of thought quickly. So I just added some IPs, OSPF for that. Let's quickly add it for our P01. That is possible. That is possible. I mean, in the previous video or the previous live stream, when I imported the normal CHR directly from the Docker registry, we picked up those devices in the neighbor list. All of them was picked up, but it was like they weren't talking correctly to the Containerlab environment for some reason. So I think there is some weird setup or some settings that needs tweaking maybe. Sorry, just clear my throat again. Alright, so I've got this guy done. Let's just go to the next guy. Let's quit. CLab MikroTik, and let's just do a CLab inspect quickly. So I just jumped into P01. Let's jump into, well, I can just use the names again, can't I? Let's do P02, which is this guy. So SSH admin at, and I'll do a few on Winbox as well, just so some people are also more, myself included, inclined to use stuff like Winbox, because it is such a, it's really useful tool. I'm really impressed with MikroTik, what they developed there. But my favorite thing about it is probably the MAC telnet, like being able to connect to another device over its layer 2 address is so useful. All right, let's have a look here. IP address add. You are 172.31.255.250, and that is on my loopback. Then let's add our other IPs on our Ether 2 and 3. So IP address add address 10.0.0.5/31 on Ether 3 and 7 on Ether 2, and then routing OSPF instance add router ID 172.31.255.250, routing OSPF area add instance, just tab it so it auto completes, routing OSPF interface template add interfaces Ether 2, Ether 3, and LO type PTP or P TP. It's so weird, because some vendors do P number 2P and MikroTik does P, TP. It's not like weird, it's just interesting how it changes between some vendors. And then I'm going to add my area, which is default area, which is the backbone. Well, it should be the backbone. Let's just have a look. Routing, routing, OSPF, area print. Yeah, yep. That looks perfect. Alright, let's go into our routes quickly. Let's see routing, route print. So I should be learning some routes from OSPF. Well, that is... The important one is, am I learning the loopback IP of PE01, which I do. So that's fine, the routing works just fine. Ping 172.31.255.251. Cool, I'm happy with that. On to the next one. Well, I'm going to do quite a few. I'm going to do all of them, including the route reflectors. Although the route reflectors don't take any MPLS config. So, let's go next. I'm just going to up arrow and go MikroTik P01. Perfect. And let me do I'll do these three through the command line, and then the next three I'll just do through the Winbox. IP address, add address 172.31.255.253, and that is loopback interface. Then IP address, add address. This one's got a few more addresses, but that's kind of expected because I've got these route reflectors on it as well. So 172.31.255. No, what am I doing? I'm looking at completely the wrong address. So 10.0.0.2/31 on Ether 2. Then Ether 3 is going to be 0000, and Ether 4 is going to be 8, and Ether 12 is going to be 16. Yeah, it looks good. And then we're going to add our routing OSPF instance, add router ID 172.31.255.253. And enter routing OSPF area, add instance tab routing OSPF interface template, add. Then we can make our area, tab it as the default one we created. Interfaces is going to be all the interfaces I've created, so Ether 2, Ether 3, Ether 4, and Ether 12, and the loopback. And our area is just going to be, well, I've already added the area, so don't need that. What I do want is my PTP, and that looks good. I can just hit enter and do routing, route print. Let's see if our OSPF is up. Routing OSPF neighbor print. Alright, I do have a neighborship. Let's just do a plain IP route print. Alright, we're getting the loopback IP, so that's fine. Perfecto. Next. MikroTik P02. Quit. So P02. Oh, I said I was going to do this from Winbox, so let's keep it straight. Let's do it with Winbox. So connect to Ramon. Then PO2, connect to you. And then let's configure you. Let me just zoom in a bit. And let me maybe change the mode to dark mode. I feel like that's a lot better for our eyes. I'm still wearing these nice thick orange glasses. So we are going to head into our IPs first. IP address. Can I pop it there? I can. That actually looks quite nice. I like it like this. So let's add our addresses quickly. This is 172.31.255.252 on Dupac. Then we've got 10.0.0.6/31 on Ether 2. Then we've got 10.0.0.10/31 on Ether 4. Then I've got 10.0.0.1/31 on Ether, what's that, 3. And then our link to our RR, which was 10.0.0.14 on Ether 12. So a whole bunch of IPs. Quickly add our OSPF stuff. So instance add. I wonder if I just hit apply now, if it will. Do you know? I think I know what did the router IDs wrong the last time, because in the previous live stream, when it was running the startup script, the script had it set with OSPF at the very beginning. So when it was configuring OSPF, that was before it's added the IP addresses, so there's no loopback IP to dynamically be assigned to the router ID at that point. I'm really sure if I just add this like now, it will use the right router ID. Let me just see, just for interest's sake. So router ID, I'm leaving that blank. I'm not even specifying it now. Although it is probably good to define it, because it kind of makes sense. Because then you definitely know it's fine. But I just want to test it and see. So that's fine. And let's do our interface template. PTP. Add our interfaces. So that would be Ether 2, Ether 3, Ether 4, Ether 12, and loopback. Okay, so that's all fine. Hit OK. And let's have a look. I just want to see if I look at my neighbors. We should have neighborship come up. We actually should have a couple of neighbors come up. Yeah. Should have those 2 neighbors. So that's good. So then what I'm curious of is if I go to like MikroTik, let's just go on to PO2 quickly. And if I look at our IP neighbor print detail, I should see on Ether 2, there's our neighbor, there is its address. So that looks good. Let me just do a plain neighbor print. Yeah. That looks good. Alright, but that's not the loopback address though. That's not the router ID. Neighbor. You know, I'm so simple sometimes. I'm looking at the IP neighbor. Routing OSPF neighbor print. There we go. That's what I want to see. So I'm like thinking, okay, I'm seeing MAC addresses and stuff for OSPF. That doesn't look right. I'm busy looking at the IP neighbor. I think it's because of our conversation in the chat. It's fine. So let's see. We've got our stuff. Router ID looks fine. It's got the right router ID. So that's exactly what happened last time. And if I do an export of the config, That's exactly it. Look at this. So here we can see that the OSPF is being configured first before it's adding the IP addresses. So then it couldn't dynamically. Okay, so that makes complete sense why the OSPF was like broken last time with the startup configs. Mystery solved. I love it when that happens. It's like when you just figure something out afterwards. It's really nice. All right, back on point. So I've got OSPF up and running, so that's all fine. So let's just disconnect. Let's see, where are the... Oh, that's unfortunate. I was kind of hoping I could just continue my session from Roman and just jump onto the next device. Alright, so next up is P03. There you are. Let's quickly do your IP addresses. So I'm gonna do the router ID statically still. Yeah. So let's add 172.31.255.248 on my loopback. Let's add 10.0.0.9/31 on Ether 2. And then 10.0.0.12 on Ether 3. Quickly do the OSPF bits. So this is 172.31.255.248. Add my area. Add my templates. Set you to point. Add my interfaces. So that's Ether 2, Ether 3, loopback. And is there anything else? Area's already set here, so that's fine. So that should be good. And how's my neighbors looking? I should have one neighbor come up. There we go. All good. And let's disconnect. Grab that. Wow. 172.20.20.10. I'm just going to copy that so I can easily get back onto it. And then we can go on to MikroTik P04. So let's do our IP addresses. First IP 172.31.255.249 on loopback. Next is 10.0.0, what's that? 11/31 Ether 2, and 10.0.0.13/31 on Ether 3. And then we can do our routing. OSPF, set our router ID 172.31.255.249. And then add our area. And then add our interface templates. So we will add a point-to-point. Add a couple of interfaces. And hit OK. Nice. So I just really want to go back onto P02 because that should not technically have 3 neighbors. Or before I do that, let me just set up the OSPF on the route reflectors as well, just so that it's there. So everything, the whole network, like the IP connectivity is there between all of my nodes. So let's disconnect from you. Paste there, connect to Roman, connect onto RRO2. Give you your IPs. So firstly 172.31.255.255. and 10.0.0, what's that, 15/31 on Ether 2. And then this guy will just be kind of the same. But I'll do that on the command line quickly. Let me just add OSPF before I forget. So your router ID is 172.31.255.25. No, 255. Almost made a little mistake again. Which is again where AI technically wouldn't make that mistake, but it's also not going to think about those type of mistakes, I think. Interface template, point to point. And interfaces, just the 2. And we should get a neighborship come up. There we go. Let's have a look at the routes. Here's a route table. Oh, it's already filling up. It's getting addresses. It looks so cool. The important bits again for me is the loopback IPs. But it's nice seeing it just kind of like start coming together, becoming alive, so to speak. All right, let's do the MikroTik RR01. So I'm just gonna put here MTK RR01 admin, and then IP address, add address 172.31.255.254 on LO, and then IP address, add address 10.0.0.17/31 on Ether 2. So now have a look, interface print. So that's quite curious. When I added, because on the Containerlab, what's it? The Containerlab topology file. If I look at Visual Studio Code quickly, let me just jump on there. I think it automatically adds all of the interfaces in between when you specify an interface, because here I've added like Ether 12. And if you looked at those other MikroTiks, it would have also Ether 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So I think it automatically adds all those other interfaces, even though there's nothing really connected to them. On a further side note, did you check out the new-ish MikroTik docs? If yes, what is your opinion on them? For now, I find them pretty much the same as the old ones, minus quite a few useful CLI. So yes, I did check it out, and I agree with you. To me, it seems it's like literally almost the same thing. Let's quickly open it up. Let's open it up. I can't remember where I saw the link. I think it was on the forums as well. One is like help.mikrotik.com, help.mikrotik.com/docs, and then what is the other one, like manual.mikrotik.com or something like that? Manual. Is it that? Yeah. So to me, it even kind of still looks the same, to be honest. Just that the manual.mikrotik.com looks more in-house almost. And it looks a bit more polished, I guess. The CLI reference. I wonder with MikroTik, because one of my biggest pet peeves with them was when they moved everything to the new documentation and they kind of just destroyed the old wiki. The old wiki had so much useful command line references, or almost like examples to showcase, you know, like config, how to get it working, how it should be working, how things look. And they never properly carry that over. Like all of the exact previous useful information wasn't like carried over. And one of the things that stood out, or quite a few of the things that stood out, was, you know, like your MPLS and your VRF things. So I wonder on the new docs or this manual, do they maybe have expanded information? So there's just the CLI reference, which is fine. Where is... It should be under our... Not bridging and switching. Virtual private networks, maybe? No, that's just your normal VPN things. Shouldn't be under bridging. I like this though, but this kind of still looked the same on help.microtik.com/docs. No. Am I being silly now? I mean, it's technically the same stuff that's on here, but there we've got our... They've even... I don't remember this being under unicast routing protocols and is this new? Well, it can't be that new, but because that's when... What's that? September 23rd, 2025. I think that just kind of shows how much I haven't been on the documentation. But do they have that here? Is it under routing? There we go. Routing and network protocols. And here we've got our VRF. I just want to see what they've added additionally. I think this information is on the... I don't know if this is on there, like this example. I'm just almost working from memory thinking about, but it wasn't this. Simplest. It looked something like this. Is this on help.microtik.com or what's it? The Microtik docs. So let's just go into VRF. Where is that? It should be here somewhere. Or is that under virtual private networks now? No, it's not. I guess I could just use the search function, right? Okay. Well, it looks the same. It's actually like copied a lot of this. It's exactly the same. But anyways, I think there's a lot of extended or examples that they still could carry over from the old documentation that was using v6 onto this help.microtik.com/docs or even this new manual site of theirs, because it seems a bit redundant. It seems like the same information just at two different places. And this going forward, they just direct everybody to come to manual.microtik.com and just keep everything in this place, which I guess looks a little bit better. I mean, the docs changes here looks a bit neater as well, because then you can see exactly what they've added and changed. But you can also see that on, on the other wiki as well. So it's usually like on your front page, you can usually see who's changed something. If I go on here, you see recently updated, and it tells you what they've done. I mean, they're still updating it, because there you can see they've changed stuff, what, like 2 days ago? They've added some LTE stuff, HAP BE Lite. I don't even think I've seen this. WAP AX LTE7, I've not seen that. This looks kind of nice, actually. HAP BE Lite. Do they actually sell that yet? I just want to have a look. Sorry, microtik.com. Is that being sold yet? Hardware. I guess I can just go to the new. What do they have there? Not stuff I'm not too interested in. Sorry, I couldn't resist. Some accessories. There's that. Oh, somebody actually told me, hey, have you seen this Happy 3 Media thing? I remember when they did the launch video for it, and it looked really neat. I actually think they did like a stealthy, sly announcement. But this looks really good. This might actually replace my current HAP AX3 that's sitting on my table at the moment that I'm connected to. As of this moment, this thing's connected. Ironically, it like connects to my normal ISP's equipment, because they don't let me change out their equipment. So I'm probably double natting things, and it will give some people heart attacks if they know that. But it's fine. It works for me. So happy 3 media. This thing looks really good. Triple band. All 5 ports are 2.5G. That's quite nice. I mean, most new machines come with 2.5G, but my current machine is still just like 1 gig on the network card on it on the motherboard. Quad core, that's quite nice. I mean, this thing is quite solid actually. It's quite nice. I wonder how much memory and stuff it actually has. Where does it have a data sheet? There we go. There's the specifications. Right, that's quite. Oh wow, that is actually not bad at all. 2 gig RAM. I mean, it doesn't have the biggest hard drive, but it's still a lot bigger than what a lot of things are. I mean, this is fine for some very basic containers as well. If you just want to stick on like something to block ads and stuff like that, it's totally good for that, I'd say. Maybe. Is there something for a Hex Pro? Really? They took down the block diagram. Why would they do that? It's kind of unlike them. They're usually quite open with the block diagrams. Block die. What's... Oh, is this the same thing? Happy? Yeah, it is. Maybe they re-added it. I don't know. Because I haven't been watching this much. It looks quite nice. I mean, it's definitely an upgrade over my HAP AX3. That's for sure. But you sent me like a Hex Pro. I wonder if they will bring back Hex Pro. Yeah, they you know how it goes. They add things, they remove it. It wouldn't surprise me if MikroTik did take it down. Maybe there was an error on the block diagram and they just wanted to fix it so that you know, some people don't point it out. Hey, this isn't really like that, because that stuff happens. So let's just go back. Hex Pro. Yeah, let me check. Maybe I can just check on the forums. Forum.mikrotik.com. Hex Pro, because that would be really cool. Hex Pro. That's a very old. Let's just check Hex Pro MikroTik. MWC. Oh, okay. Oh, sorry about that. What's that? So that's a bit light. Scout. App AX. That looks pretty sick. I won't lie. It is definitely like branded as MikroTik. Imagine having these access points everywhere in a building, and it's just like this MikroTik. I guess it looks. It personally, I prefer this. This looks better than those weird little spaceship things that they were selling. Like I'd rather mount this than those spaceships they were having. And there we go. There's the Hex Pro PoE. That looks pretty good as well. That does look really good. Ah, that's really nice. So it comes with a 10 gig WAN connection. Ones with 2. Oh, yeah. This can work console port as well. You don't often have console ports on, not like when I say, because you do. A lot of new MikroTik devices has console ports, especially like the CRS switches and things that need a console port. But I don't have a console port. Or at least I don't think I've got a console port on my hacks, my little AP thing here. And I think some of the smaller hexes also don't have console ports. Ah, that is really cool. So it's got a SFP module as well. Didn't see that. So you've got your 10 gig SFP module, or SFP plus specifically. Yeah, that the M.2 slot is also nice because you can just jack in a nice drive onto there. Yeah, that looks really nice. That wouldn't surprise me if the L009 has a console port, but that's more of because I'd say the router boards generally, which I classify the L009 also into, are more stuff that you maybe put down for. I don't know if you want to say enterprise, but it's definitely I'd use one of the bigger router boards for like at a business than what I'd put down HAP AX3 or something like that. So yeah, probably all the router boards also probably have console ports. Yeah, I saw the 10 GBE because that could be so nice because you could have your WAN connection go in here, and then you could probably have that also just run down to, you know, like some other switches and stuff. Maybe have your servers there connected 10 gig. That's really sick. I think that's really nice. That's really cool. The internet is suddenly becoming so fast. Like I still remember struggling with dial-up, and now people can get like 10 gig connections into their homes. It's ridiculous. I think they even joke at some places it's even more than that. Like I don't know, the future's going so fast. It feels like we're there's just too much speed now. Not that that's a bad thing, but it's like maybe with this whole AI advancement, maybe it's needed. But for what we use it for day to day, like we have just, you know, speeds. I don't want to say it's too much, but we rarely use all of that capacity. Like I don't even think I ever use much of my 1 gig connection. When I download something quickly, maybe yes, but then other than that, it's pretty much just standing idle. Okay, I kind of jumped out of the lab for a bit. Sorry about that. I configured the route reflector. Did I do both of them? I think I was busy with route reflector 1, and then we started talking about the new manual side and then looking at some of the marketing gear. So it kind of happens. I mean, it's a live stream, it's interactive. I like it when we all chat like this. It's really nice. So back on topic, what did I do? I've added the IP. I don't think I've added the OSPF yet, so let's just quickly add that. Routing, OSPF, instance, add router ID. Let's just jump back to the canvas. And that was 172. Well, I could just see it on the loopback IP. .31.255.254. And then routing, OSPF, area add, instance, tab it. And the simplified container updates has allowed for some interesting projects. Taiga for IPv6 numbers or custom ad blockers. I still need to test out a lot of the new container stuff that they brought out, because I know they've made it super, I don't want to say simple, but straightforward now with your containers. That it's almost like a hypervisor. You know, it's just like, here's your containers, pick the ones you want, click them, install them, and there you go. So that's really neat. I am happy that they have simplified it. It's just I haven't tested it out much, so I can't comment too much. But it's really neat that I can see a lot of people use it a bit more. I think it's also one of marketing's top selling points, actually, because there's not like a lot of vendors do support containerization or containers, but not your consumer grade stuff. Like, have you seen? What is it, like a TP link or something? Do TP links do containers? I don't know. I'll have to Google it. Can a TP link do containers? Okay. Can a TP link do containers? Yeah. Well, this is just the AI telling it to me. So, but all I'm saying is I haven't really seen like a consumer grade router do the things that Marketic does. All right, back on point. Routing OSPF. Interface template, add interfaces, ether to loopback, type P2P, PTP, and our area. Again, so that should at least give us full IP connectivity to all of our nodes inside the network. So let's see. IP route print. Yeah. RR2, RR1. What's that? P1, P2, PE1, PE2, PE3, PE4. Okay, so that's sorted. I'm really happy with that. There's so many extra things I want to do. Because I just thought about like actually injecting some real, not real routes, but fantasy routes from a MicroTik into this network, so we can play around with some BGP stuff as well. If I unlock the lab, let me just quickly add this canvas or bring this panel back. How was... Can I add... No, I don't think I can actually add nodes while it's running. Okay, that makes sense though. But it would have been cool if I could just like drag and drop a new node into this live running lab already, because that's also kind of one of the, you know, the top features for EVNG is, or EVNG Pro I should say, is that you can like, you know, connect new nodes to an already running topology as well. I'm sure I saw something on the Containerlab Discord, Containerlab, hang on, Discord. Just want to see, maybe I hallucinated it as well. Is Discord running? Yeah, there we go, Discord. And we can go into Containerlab GUI. I'm pretty sure I saw like somebody, is it this? Small teaser from Dev for Containerlab apply. I think it was this. Hang on. So that's already running. See, there we go. Look at it. Look at him go. He's just adding a new node while it's already running. So I do. I just don't think, maybe it's just not available yet for what I have, because that is on Visual Studio Code as well. He's doing this. Ah, that's so nice. I'll have to ask if it's in an upcoming version or which version, because I'd like to do that. Look at that. You just add the nodes and you just like specify the links and then done. Dusted. No struggling. And just deleting the nodes. Alright. Well, that's nice. I like that. I do like that. Alright, so back to my stuff. I don't think I can just add that new node, because it was literally just going here. Because technically I should see the MikroTik kind here. I should be able to add it as a node template. Alright, no biggie. I'll add it afterwards. I just need to remember to save my configs afterwards back onto the startup configs. I do need to fix the one device that I added. I think it was MikroTik PO2, the router ID, because if I do copy the startup configs and I don't order it properly, it's gonna be an issue with the router ID again. So let me quickly do that while I'm still around here. Disconnect. I still have that. Yeah, I do. Awesome. Connect to ROM on. MikroTik. PO2. Let's get on to you, and let's just give you a router ID. So your router ID was 172.31.255.252. Wonder when I do that, will it force a state change. Doesn't seem like it. Seems like it just stays connected. Probably just sends it in a little update message, like it's already sending the router ID. It's just like saying, okay, here's a static router ID. And that's so neat that when you look at the interfaces, it sets it as a passive already for the loopback interface, because it's kind of exactly what Juniper does as well. When you want to advertise a loopback interface, you set it as passive on the OSPF config. That is something I do want to try and do. I just don't want to break this lab while I do it. So let me just quickly save the configs onto the startup configs for each of these nodes. And then I'm going to see if I can bring up a Juniper VMX. Not VMX, I've already got VMX. I want a VEX, a V-switch. Because I know some people was complaining that with Juniper you need to register and all that stuff, but I do think some of these new images is literally just, you can just pull it directly from their website. You don't need to register at all. You just need to click OK and say, yes, I'm a real person and I'm not going to use this. I think it's to say you can't use it commercially or stuff like that. And they obviously, they also rate limit stuff, just like MikroTik does with these images. So you're not going to like run a production network on it anyways. Let's have a look. That's the time already. I've been streaming like over an hour. Wow. It feels like I haven't really done much. Okay, let's quickly jump on here. Well, there's two places I want to be. I want to be on Visual Studio Code quickly. What was that? I just saw something about AI agents. They're coming for me. Let's just minimize that. So I should be able to quickly just pull it from Visual Studio Code. I might actually just maximize this again. I hope I can copy from this terminal nicely. I really do. Because what I'm going to do is just open up my startup configs quickly. So open file. Okay, let's just open it from here then. Startup configs. Oh, snap. So with the startup configs, what I've done is I just have a MikroTik init, which basically just adds. How did it add each of the unique host names though? Let me open up this init file. Because this is no, something's wrong. Something is out of place. I feel like I need to discover this quickly or figure this out. No. That's what's wrong. I'm in the wrong file. So I'm just in MikroTik. No, but still, it's generated these startup configs from where? Oh, that's got me on a bit of a spin almost. And if I look at the YAML file, alright, so they all just use mtk.init. Does it save these configs? I wonder. If I open up one of these FTP boot RSC files, I'm just trying to think. Does it save all of the config? If I destroy this lab, is all of this just going to be saved? Because it's obviously it's It's got the hostname from freaking somewhere. You can right-click on the running labs and save configs. Really? I don't think I've done that. Start, stop, restart, SSH shell logs, info. Maybe if I go into one of these little... Oh, right-click the running labs and save configs. Oh, that makes so much sense. Did I do it by accident last time? So I just saw on the running labs, there was, when I right click there, there's the save configs. Okay, that actually is really neat. So if I go into, I'm gonna guess if I go into that FTP boot, it should be there again. Well, let's have a look. No man, but I haven't configured anything on the CEs. I'm being silly when I do that. Let's just open up P01. That is awesome. I'm loving this even more now. I'm really enjoying this now. Thank you so much for that. Because I was like, oh man, I need to destroy my lab, or I need to manually save all of these configs. Because this will also make it easier if I want to export these as startup configs. I could just add them to a little config file for each node. Or you could just copy it over like this with this environment already set up. That's really neat. So if I destroy this lab, and I'm kind of hoping it doesn't break anything, or let's stop the nodes. I'm gonna restart the nodes and see what happens. Let's see what happens. So this should boot back up. It should already be back up, to be honest. Let's do a little SSH admin. It does take a little bit of time to just boot back up again. What am I doing there? And then let's just go on here. I've obviously disconnected. Let's just open up a new session, close that. Let's go CD, CLab, MikroTik, and let's do a CLab inspect. Right, so these are running. Well, I should have seen that as well. P01, copy, SSH, admin. 172.20.23. Okay, so that's up. Just SSH to that quickly. I do know this takes a little bit of time sometimes. But usually not that long. Come on. Else, I'm going to be cheeky and just destroy and redeploy the lab quickly. So let's do that. Deploy. Okay, so that should come back up. Just do another inspect quickly. I think some of the IPs might have bounced around, but it's fine. That. Interesting. What about I just do it directly from here? Alright, so that's working. Alright, it is working. But since I destroyed it and redeployed it, let me just do this bit as well. Yes, admin. Right, so that looks good. So, a little bit more. So, question is, everything is still there, and yeah, this looks good. Routing OSPF neighbor print. I should have 4 neighbors. Did I not add? I think I didn't add something. If I look at the canvas again, sometimes I get lost in my own spaces. Sorry about that. So I don't think I've added that IP or that interface potentially to the OSPF. So let me just quickly see if it's there. Routing OSPF export. Ether 12. Do I have an IP added to Ether 12? No, I don't. So it's not going to work. So IP address add address. And that was, I think, 10.00.16. Yeah, 10.00.16/31 on Ether 12. And let's just see, is my OSPF coming up? Neighbor print. We should have a 4th neighbor come up. Technically, oops. There we go. There's our 4th neighbor with RR1, which is perfect. I'm really happy. Thank you for showing me or letting me know about this nice little feature. Because I've just like been what I've been doing is I've been creating startup configs and then add all of the config to the startup config after I'm done with the lab, and then when I destroy the lab afterwards, then I delete like the whole thing, so it just boots up with the new startup configs. So this is really nice. Thank you for that. I still want to try and also do like packet captures, because I saw that you can do packet captures with Wireshark as well, and I think it even says here somewhere download the Wireshark plugin. Just not sure about installing it. Yes, you can do the PCAP. How long have you been using Containerlab? If you don't mind me asking. Because it's nice speaking to people that is using it as well. You need to download a couple of containers. Okay. Now, I'll check it out maybe after the stream as well. I wanna... Well, I do want to struggle, but I don't think it's amusing sitting struggling live, just bringing it up or trying to bring it up. But I know we can just go here and start figuring it out. Also, I'll also look on the Discord server as well. I'm sure there's also some information on the Discord server. And how do you feel changing over from GNS3 to Containerlab? Do you think it was a good move? Do you think it's, I don't want to say better, but well, I'd probably say better, but I also used GNS3 for a long time, and then I switched over to EvenD for a long time. Oh, that's quite nice. Yeah. Yeah, but I've moved to Containerlab purely on, not, I don't want to say principle, but after my last issue with my EVNG Pro VM, like there was a big issue. So I broke stuff, and then I was also just really not getting much joy in getting the stuff back up and running the way it should have ran. And then I just thought I'm going to try something new, and here we are. Container Lab's really nice. I enjoy this. Like quick to install. Actually, run a little setup script. I think it's just you need Docker. You need to just run that little setup script, and off you go. Off you go. You can just start building labs and topologies. And yes, exactly. It's so nice just having this little. I build this like topology. I just configure. I say what the nodes are, and it's exactly like you say. It's like infra as code. So I can code this, and if I share this with somebody else, it's so quick for them to also just bring it up in the current state that I have it as well. It's so nice. Anyways, I was busy with something, and it was maybe at MPLS on my PEs and my provider devices. And who knows, maybe I should try a little, maybe some EVPN. I haven't done EVPN on MicroTik since I made a video on it, and that was like a year ago, maybe a year plus. Just see if it actually still works. Oh, that's cool. Well, I follow honestly my own channel for marketing learning as well, because I'll do stuff like this, or like I'm labbing this stuff, or many times it's things I figured out as well while working with MicroTik. Sadly, I don't work with MicroTik often these days, but a lot of times I'll go back on some of my YouTube videos just to figure out something again, because there's so much stuff that you can do. There's so much stuff that you can do. Thank you, I appreciate that. I appreciate it. I really, I don't want to say make the videos. Um, it's just I don't want to like talk down to people and make it feel like I'm this overbearing person that's trying to teach you something. I'm trying to make the videos so that it must make sense to me. If I watch it, I want to be able to be like, oh, okay, that makes sense. Because many times I go off a tangent in the videos, and I know it annoys some people, but it's like to show you, here's an issue, here's a mistake, and I don't cut out those mistakes to just make this picture perfect video, because this is IT. Many times you're going to run into those issues. You're going to have something go wrong, and then you do want to like have that almost thought process, or I think the fancy word is methodology of what you should try and do when you run into these issues, because it happens. It happens all the time. Like I think for me that sometimes I don't want to say what separates good engineers from bad ones, because in my opinion everybody is kind of the same. It's many times you'll see when somebody does struggle with an issue, and they just kind of like, I don't know, they get lost somewhere. I don't know what it is. And it's like, just try and stick with, I don't want to say the basics, but you just need to understand, follow some process, think about it, what could be wrong. Like in the last live stream, I think you guys could even see it in the last live stream. I don't think you were in the last live stream, Smart, but there was this issue where the router ID was the same on all the devices, and I just looked and I was thinking, oh, what could be causing that? What could make the OSPF get stuck in an X start state? And it's like, okay, but it's obviously trying to talk. And then I saw, okay, but all of the router IDs are the same, so that's kind of the issue, and then you fix it. But sorry, I'm like going off another tangent, just talking about video creation. But I do enjoy it. I really do need to make some more videos, and I do want to make a lot of RouterOS version 7 stuff, because a lot of my old guides are still based off of version 6, and it does carry over to version 7 for a large portion, but not everything is the way it is currently. I mean, a lot of people these days also use Winbox 4 now, because it is out of the beta, and it's you know, if you look at my old videos, you look at the old version of Winbox, and if you're a new person just coming into MicroTik and using Winbox 4 is like, what is this? What am I seeing? It looks weird. So I really do need to update a lot of my guides. Like, even if it's the same guide, I really need to convert it for version 7. So where was I? I was gonna do some MPLS quickly. So let's do Microtech P01. I think I'm gonna have a little issue with the SSH now. So I'm just gonna delete all of them quickly. 1, 2. Can I just start that or something? I'm not sure. Already did 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. For example, policy routing in version 6, version V7. Yes, I need to do a video on that, but also purely because I also need to figure it out as well. Like, I know how to do the basic policy routing using stuff like your route rules or your route rules still, like your mangles, because it still kind of works the same in V7, but there is some tricks, some extra bits. SSH admin at... what am I doing? I think I can just do a CLab inspect quickly. SSH admin at... grab one of these names quickly. Oh, what did I reset? I don't know. Well, I did that. And then admin. So that's Microtech P01. Let me just put this on the side again. Pop that on that side. There we go. Zoom out a bit. That should be fine. So, some MPLS. Let's add that. So that should just be MPLS, LDP. So a few things we want to set. Let's set our LSR ID to our loopback. Let's set our transport address to the loopback. And I actually think I need to add it. I don't think you just set it. So if I do MPLS LDP export or print. Alright, so that's there now, that's fine. So MPLS LDP. What I should do is also try RSVP as well with Microtech. I'm just doing LDP out of convenience right now because it is really the easier thing to set up. LDP interface add, so then I can just add my interfaces. Ether 234 interface Ether 2 3 4, and that should be fine. And if I go down to P02, just do the same. Admin. No, I could actually just copy paste that. It would have worked better if I did that before. Good old Notepad++. Although I do find that with Visual Studio Code it works fine as a text editor. I could actually just copy this into Visual Studio Code. Stuff that's fine. File, new file. So we've got our MPLS bits, and then we just need our LDP or our this bits. Need to hop off. What time then? Oh, no worries. Thank you for joining the stream. I do appreciate it. It's nice having you guys here and to just chat to as well in between, and just inform me about stuff like that HAP Hex Pro, not the HAP, the Hex Pro. Like that was really nice to see. Alright, so it's just our PLS LDP. I could probably do it like this. Well, I hope it just takes it like this. Hang on, I probably don't even need to do that. But I will have to do this interface add. No. I have to go further down. I was actually being a bit silly there. LDP interface. It's just going to be like this. I think that should be it. You know, I could have gone in in each one and we'll probably already have it configured. It's fine. So I'm on PO2, which is 252. So then it's literally just a case of that. So if I copy this and just paste it into here, that looks alright. Export that. MPLS LDP neighbor print. Alright, we've got a neighbor. It's pretty good. So let's quickly just do this for the rest. That should be quick. Quit. MikroTik. What's the PE01? The PE01 is 251. But it's only got Ether 2 and 3. So just update that. Copy this. Paste it. Width. Then 250 for PE2. And 249. Oh, I knew I did something. 249. No, AI, don't jump in. PO4 248. Okay, MPLS LDP. What was it? LDP. Have I messed something up? MPLS LDP export. Yeah, that looks fine. get on to P02. Alright. So you've got a neighbor with... That's P1. And 250 is P2, which is right. But technically, if I go into here, I should have it to P04 as well. Weird. Very weird. What? P04. Have I messed up the IP addressing? I have messed up the IP addressing. Because my transport addresses is not my loopback addresses on PE4 and PE3. I've swapped them around. So let's quickly just fix that. So MPLS LDP set LSR ID 172.31.255.249. Transport address 172.31.255.249. So let's just see, does that fix my issue? There we go. I've got a neighborship with P2 now, which is good. So let's just do PE03. PE03. Put PE03. Let me use the edit. I barely use edit ever. So what's it? MPLS LDP edit 0. Value is that's probably why I don't want to use it, because now I need to go into these separately. Transport. Neighbor print. Alright, so we've got our two neighbors. And I should see some remote mappings now. Alright, need to heading off, TMB, time to go to work. Now my time zone, good catching up with you on the live stream. Oh, thanks mate, thank you for joining as well. And you also helped me in the live stream tonight, so I do appreciate that. Thank you so much. Thanks for joining. And I hope you have a good day at work. Like, it's always nice to be busy at work as well. So see you, mate. MPLS LDP. Remote mapping. There we go. That's what I want to see. There's our remote mapping. So it's mapping some labels for us, and it's also setting some implicit nulls, and that is what we want to see. It is working the way that it should work. So next step for me will be to just add some BGP to the route reflectors as well, and then I can potentially see if I can maybe get EVPN working. Let me save this config again, because I'm so happy that I can save my configs now. Let's just have a look. Just going through some messages, sorry. It's fine, little code. Alright. So I did say I was going to do some BGP sessions to the route reflectors. So let's do that. So I think first step I do is maybe just from Winbox. I have to just reconnect to Winbox. 172 20. Let's do 10 again. Let me actually connect on from the CE. What's the CE's? I can't see it from here. Just do a C-Lab inspect quickly. Inspect. I'm messing it up. It's like I'm dyslexic. Inspect. So 11 is CE 01, which is perfect. 2020-11, connect to Ramon. And then I can quickly jump onto, let's do PE3 and PE4. I'm just going to do one route reflector for now. So PE3, let's jump onto you. If I look at my routing, BGP, I know that Microtik has added instances again. Let's just make this AS. Delete! I don't know if I need to specify any of those details. Let's just set our router ID as 31.255.248. AS 1337. And that should be fine. I don't think I should have to specify my routing table, because it will be the main routing table either way. So then we can either set some templates, or we can just add a connection and add the settings as we want to. So I'm going to do that quickly. No. There's our AS. What can I call this? Route reflect. So AS is 1337. Address families. We want to do IP, we want to do IPv6, layer 2 VPN, VPN-v4, and let's just do all of them for the fun of it. Router ID. It should actually pull the router ID off of the instance, but let's just specify it anyways. 132.55.248. Remote address. So this is going to be 172.168.255.254. Remote AS 1337. Local address 172.31255.248. So this is going to be IBGP. It's technically multi-hop. We'll set it to connect, and listen. And let's hit OK. Well, is there anything else I want to set? Add path out. AS override, all the nice little BGP bits. Next op choice, self. Right, that should be fine. So, to make it a bit easier for the rest, let's just do a routing BGP export. I can just grab these, pop it into here, paste it, and then I just need to make a few slight alterations. And the real alteration is going to be just the local IP. So that was PE3. 4 is 249. So let's Just replace that quickly. And then if I jump onto PE4, I should just be able to paste this in. And let's export that. Yeah, that looks good. Quit. PE1, which I think is 251 or something. Let's just quickly make sure. I should probably see it here. 251, 250. So let's just quickly change that to 251 for PE1. That's fine. And then PE2. And then the same thing for this. This was 250. And now for the important bit is for the route reflector. 172.20.20.11. I don't want to connect to that directly. So this, I'm going to go on to RR. Did I actually set it right? 254, yes. So RR1, routing, BGP instance. Well, instance is kind of going to be just the same. So that's AS lead route ID 254. All right. Sorry, I apologize for not putting in the AS. Truly. Connections. So here I'm going to have multiple. So I could just name the first one BE1. It's going to be that AS. It's going to be that. It's going to be all of the address families. Route ID 172 31 255 254. Remote address, that is going to be 251. Remote AS 1337. Local address. This is going to be IBGPRR. Multi-hop, connect, listen. And I think that looks fine to me. Yeah. Let me just see if this peer comes up. Let's have a look at our sessions. It's established. That's good. I'm really happy if we see that. So then we can just do a... You know, it would really make more sense if I just did a BGP template, which is just like in something like Juniper terms, a BGP group. But let me just copy this all, paste it. I've already got the instance, so I don't need to redo that. I'm just going to need multiple connections. 1, 2, 3. And then all that happens is I'm going to connect to, what's it? 250, 249, and 248. And I just need to set the name. Where is that name? There we go. So that is going to be PE2, PE3, PE4. That looks right. Let me just make sure. 248, yep. Well, 248 is PE3, so I do think I did maybe make a little mistake. 248 is PE3, that is PE4. Okay. Ooh, copy these. That was a oopsie. Go into inbox, just paste them in. And if we do routing, BGP session print. 1, 2, 3, 4 sessions. That is perfect. That is nice. So routing, route print. These are some of the routes we're learning. So now I wonder, without looking at the docs, if I can easily do something like configure EVPN on MikroTik. Let's just save our lab again before I do anything, save the configs. So for this, I should really just need to set some configuration. I'm just going to use the 2 PEs for now. I'm not going to do like multi-home or dual home or anything like that right now. I just want to see if it actually works. So PE1 and PE3 seems like good candidates because that's already getting to some CEs, and the CEs also don't have anything configured on them. So in theory, we should just see a MAC address span across. So let me have a look-see. Inbox, I do want to get onto PE3 quickly. So let's just disconnect from here. Hello, how are you doing? 172.20.20.11, connector I'm on. So PE3. From this bad boy, we're going to just quickly set up our, it should be under the BGP settings, so BGP. Can't, hang on a second, I actually think that, can you do EVPN through Winbox yet, or does it still have to happen through the CLI? I've got a feeling it's probably still locked behind the CLI. That'll be my guess. Because if I go onto PE1 quickly, just quit this, exit, quit PE1, admin, routing, BGP, because there's EVPN, add, instance, we'll use our default instance, name, EVPN test. I know the V and I's needs to match. And was there also something to do with bridges with the EVPN? You know what? I'm actually going to look at the documentation quickly. So let's just go back there because I can definitely see this is going to not confuse me, but it might just not be a fun read. So let's use the new MikroTik manual and see if we can find it from there. Router S, EVPN. I wonder if they have any additional configuration here. Okay, so a bridge is created with some VLAN filtering. Okay, so this is EVPN VXLAN. So there's a few bits that I'm going to just copy from the documentation, and I'm just going to tweak it a bit. When RTs or RD are not specified, values are derived automatically. I remember in the last versions I was actually having issues specifying stuff like a route distinguisher. Let's just head back into Visual Studio Code. I don't need this anymore, so we can just quickly do that. So first thing they did was they've added a bridge, which is fine. I don't mind adding a bridge. PVID 40. We can make that whatever we want really. But let's leave it on 40. Our interface bridge port. So this is going to be the port that's going to go down to the customer device, which I think is Ether 12. If I remember correctly, let's just have a look. Yeah, Ether 12. So I can just update that to Ether 12. Ether 12. Then our IP address, I don't need that. I've already got an IP as a loopback address. So our local address is just our loopback address. So I might just quickly update that. So PE1's address is 251, I think. Yeah, 251. So let's just change that to 251. So all we're doing is we're adding a VXLAN interface. It is part of this bridge. PVID 40. Local address is that. Okay, that's fine. Routing instance. We've already got our normal routing instance, so I'm just going to continue using that. So routing connection, address family EVPN, which is fine. Our instance is going to be AS 1337. And that's, hang on. Okay. All that I really need to do is inside my address family, I need to specify EVPN, but it's not something that I could specify inside of Winbox. So this is a CLI only thing, so that's why I didn't catch it or add it. So that's fine. So I don't need to worry about that. I just need to go around all of my devices and add the EVPN address family for my connection. No biggie. And then our routing BGP EVPN add instance equals, so that should be my AS1337 BGP name, or the name BGP EVPN, whatever, and then a VNI, which is going to match on both ends. So this is pretty straightforward. I'm just going to add this onto PE1. And then I also just need to enable the EVPN address family, so routing BGP connection set AFI. So that's crazy how much more you can see if you run the commands from the command line. That's kind of maybe one of my other pet peeves with MikroTik, is that there is a lot more that you can actually do from the command line than from normal Winbox. It's like it's hidden. It's like it's hidden from normal, like It's probably to not confuse, you know, your average home user. Suddenly there's all this other stuff, and if they're using Winbox, it might be confusing. But I don't think so. I think if they're already using Winbox, then you're pretty good with marketing then already. I think that's the biggest hurdle sometimes, is just getting into Winbox and figuring it out. But once you know it, it's so easy. Connection. So let's just edit our AFI or route reflector 1 AFI, and then I can just add EVPN. So if I edit it again, that is still there, so that's fine. Okay, that's pretty much all that I need to do. And I also need to just enable EVPN on the route reflector stuff, but that's fine. I'll do that in a minute. So let's quit that. Let's go on to PE03. Just copy the same config. The bridge will stay the same. The PV IDs will stay the same. Just my loopback address is going to change. What's it? 248. Let's just see IP address 248. So that's fine. 248. So I can just copy this into PE3. And then routing, BGP connection, set. Actually, let's just edit route reflector, AFI. And let's just add EVPN, save that, and quickly go on to our route reflector, RR01. And routing, BGP, connection, set. Well, let me edit. I could set it as well, but let's do PE1. AFI. Let's just make that EVPN. And if I export that, it should be that first one, this one. So this might be a little bit quicker if I just do this copy. No. So let's just do a set. PE2. I'll do this for the rest. PE3, which is the one we actually wanted on. PE4. Routing, BGP, session print. And interesting enough, that does seem like that restarted our BGP session, which is fine. Which is fine. So now the question is, if I hop onto my CE1, is it working? Like, technically it should work, but we don't live in technical land. Well, maybe we do. IP neighbors friend. So what am I seeing there? Can I actually see a host name there as well? So I'm seeing all of the PE stuff, which is interesting. There's our CE address. So you could probably filter it out so you don't see all of the PE information. I mean, it will see PE2 and 1 because it is directly connected. So that kind of makes sense. But the PE03 it's seeing because of that bridge. But the cool thing is I should be able to MAC ping this MAC address. So ping, just type ping. And that works. And that's pretty neat. And what I could do is just add an IP address. I think if I look at the topology, ether 2 on both ends go up that way. So let's just save this configs again. So IP address add address. What can we make it? Let me use a Martian address. I kind of just use Martian addresses whenever I feel like it. So let's make it .1/24 on ether 12. Was it ether 12? Ether 2, sorry. Ether 2. And then the same on CE2. And that's going to be IP address at address 192.0.0.254/24 on ether 2. IP neighbor print. We've got an IP, magic. And if I ping 192.0.0.1, does that work? It works. Man, that's awesome. That's awesome, because that means that we've got EVPN working between our two customer edge devices, and it's running through our MikroTik core network using MPLS. Ah, man, I love it. This is like the good stuff. And if I look at our routing table, we should see a few interesting bits. Specifically, if we look at the routing table of our provider edges, PO1, routing, route print. And it's cool that you get a little bit more information. We do routing route print as opposed to IP route print. Because this isn't going to show us stuff like the EVPN routes, but routing route print will. And we can even look at where the AFI equals EVPN. And here we can see what it's learning and what it's sending as well. How cool is that? Man, I love this. And if I look at the route reflector, RRO1, routing route print, there's our EVPN routes. That is awesome. That's really cool. I know I'm just I'm saying it, but it is really cool. If I print the detail, what will you see? Where AFI equals EVPN. Look at this. So it has specified the route target for us. There's the VNI as well. Encapsulation. So that is literally just like an import target. There's our route distinguisher with first thingy. So there's a MAC address. Let's see, 68. Because it should be learning 68 from PE3. So if I go into PE03, let's just look IP neighbor print quickly. It's the quickest way to see it as well. And then onto our ether 12, 5168. So that's what's getting sent through BGP to the other end as well. Like that one British guy used to say, it's like, nice. That meme. I love it. All right. So I think I'm going to save this bit. I'm going to destroy this lab. And I might try and quickly download the V-switch for Juniper as well, just to see if I can bring it up online before I just have a small break doing something else as well. So let's see if I go to Juniper downloads. I should find the V-switch on the downloads page. Sorry, I just muted my mic for a sec. So, V-switch. Is it called V-switch? V-Junos switch. V-Junos router, V-Junos evolved, C-Junos evolved, which I kind of broke my Containerlab with last time because that is based off of their PTXs, and I started up like 12 of these bastards, and my machine just ran out of resources. My whole system actually started seizing. So just because containers are lightweight doesn't mean like it doesn't like this Juniper container uses a lot of memory. V-Junos switch. This is still going to be quite beefy though, but I should just be able to download this. 4 gig. Yeah, see, Juniper just lets you go. Okay, I agree. Proceed. So we do not need to. Well, I can just click there. We do not need to register. Juniper doesn't need to know any of our details. We can just download it and be on our merry way. So while that downloads, although it might make the stream suffer a little bit because I might, well, the stream's uploading, so it shouldn't be too much of an issue. Let's see. I'm looking for containerlab.dev. It's actually the kinds. Juniper. V-Junos switch is a virtualized EX9214. How to obtain the image, build it with VRNetLab, which I've already got. So with VRNetLab, there we go. It's a forked version. This is the one we want. I've seen like a joke on the Discord for Containerlab as well, where it's like people use the wrong VRNetLab. Instead of cloning or using the SRL Labs one, they just use the normal VRNetLab, and then it freaks them out when stuff doesn't work. So I've already got this installed on my machine as well, so it should just be a case of copying that image into VRNetLab and then containerizing it. So all that I should switch to here. V-Junos switch. And then we just do a make. And then that should containerize this Juniper switch for us. And I've heard some people say the V-Junos switch is just as good as a VMX, and you can basically do all of the same type of stuff. I'm not sure how exact that is. I've used some of the V-Junos switches before, but I haven't really compared it to the VMX. I do have the VMX installed on here as well, but it's running like very old code, version 18. So it's not the best for modern day labbing. But it's good enough. It's good enough. Let's just have a look-see. Some interesting stuff happening here. I think it's going to take a while for this vJuno switch to install. And it even says that when you boot it up, it takes a while. And that's true even for normal Juniper VMs if you're doing it like on EVNG. I'm not sure how long it takes on GNS3, but I'm sure it still takes just as long. It takes like containers with vJuno switch inside will take 15 minutes to fully boot. That's crazy. Can you think about it? Imagine you had this in a production network and it breaks, and then you have to like wait 15 minutes for it to boot up again. And I've seen this stuff happen. Like even with some of the hardware kit with Juniper, if but it's not a Juniper fault. It's not like it's them being bad or anything. But I've seen like if you jump a few versions higher, and sometimes there's like a kernel upgrade, and when that happens, then it can take so long for the device to boot back up again. Like sometimes 30, 40 minutes. You're just sitting there waiting, and you're like, chomping on your nails, hoping the thing boots up, doesn't break. It usually does boot up though, but I have seen it break once or twice. But still, the actual irony is like, imagine having this vJuno switch in your network and you need to reboot it and it takes 15 minutes. You're just like sitting there not doing anything. This is going to take some time. But it's alright, we got time, guys. Oh, wow. I just realized something. I think I've been streaming nearly 2.5 hours. Time flies when you're having fun. Felt like the stream just started. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to just make sure the switch actually boots up, do a few basic checks, and then I'll probably stop the Containerlab side of the stream, and I might play a little bit of the Gothic remake, because I have it, but I haven't really gotten into the game that much, even though I've finished original Gothic so many times, like Gothic 1, Gothic 2, even Gothic 3 to an extent, but the first two Gothics, man, I've played the... there's even a point where there's no history of me playing those games, because when I first started playing it as a, like a teenager, I didn't have stuff like Steam, and it was like tracking how long you're playing or anything like that. It was just like a CD. You install it and you play, and off you go, and you could waste away days just playing. But I've got like the Chronicles of Myrtana music playing in the background. I don't know if it's actually being picked up on the stream, because I have dropped my desktop audio quite low, so there's a good chance you guys might not hear it, but if you do, that's what's been playing. Really relaxing music. Alright, that has come online, so let's just do a Docker images. Do I have you? Yes, I do. So I can just copy that quickly. And... why did I do that? why did I do that? So, did I do something for like Juniper Labs? And this one is LA. I did do something for Juniper, so let's do clab-juniper. And let's just create a directory called vswitch. vJuno switch. Okay, so that will have nothing in it. So let's just be quite quick, and I'm just going to grab well, I could actually use any topology file, but I'll just grab the topology file in my EVPN one quickly. And let's just have 2 junipers. Juniper, let's just make it SW01, SW02. Let's just change our kinds. I think the kind is going to be juniper switch, but we can see on the documentation what it is. So let's just make sure juniper V, juniper, Juno switch, and the kind. I'm pretty sure did I read it? There we go. Juniper underscore V Juno switch. V Juno switch. Okay. Image will be the image we just saw on Docker. And I don't have any startup configs, but that's fine. Doesn't bother me. And we can connect GE000 to GE000. That should be fine. And let's just call this V Junos switch. There we go. Save that. And then what I can do... I saved it, but I don't think I saved it in that directory. Oh, what did I do? Open recent. I'm definitely... There we go. I know what I've done. Hopefully I can undo that quickly. Juniper V-switch. Let's just call it V-switch. Juniper switch 01, that's fine as well. Can I undo that? No, I can't. So I messed up some config, but it's fine. It's fine. It's not an issue. Let's quickly see. Is my CLab file there? Yes, it is. So I should just be able to do a CLab deploy. Unable to find no Juniper. Oh, okay. I know what that's complaining about. So that is complaining that I've got these here and I didn't update the names. So Juniper switch 01 connecting to Juniper switch 02. Try and deploy now. And there we go. Deploying. And I might have to remove some. That's fine. I'll just connect to the host name. It should be fine. So, but it did say it's going to take like 10-15 minutes. So I wonder if you can actually see what the container's doing while it's booting. Alright, so known limitations. So this might be a bit of a problem. Although I'm pretty sure I've used VGNO switch in nested virtualization before. Because I'm pretty sure I've had it working on EVNG before. But there is probably like some limitation. Maybe something doesn't work correctly. There it says due to its nested architecture, VGNO switch cannot be used in any deployments that launch it from within a VM. And I think it's kind of the same case with the VGNOS router as well, which is unfortunate. It's just one of those things. So, let's just try that. Docker exec IT bash. If I do docker exec bash, but I'm pretty sure. Has this thing booted up yet? That can't be right. One 2020. Actually, let's just see if I can SSH to it. SSH. Yeah, I'm pretty sure this thing's still busy booting. I think we can look at it. Yeah, there we can see it's still busy doing stuff as well. This music from the Chronicles of Murtana is kind of fun. It's not. It's like a sped up version of the original. Was it Church Chapel? Because Gothic 2's got like a song for Monastery of Fire or something. And it's the same song, but this one's like it's got like a accordion playing or something instead of the normal instrument, and it just makes it sound a little bit faster. That was just the Discord for Containerlab. Where is my VMware? I'm literally just waiting for this to boot up and see if it's actually... Maybe we can see if we can have the two devices at least talk, maybe ping each other. Browse labs on GitHub. What other labs do they have? I actually think you can see it from Visual Studio Code as well if we... where was it? Welcome to Containerlab. Popular topologies, because here they've got like already ready-made some topologies as well. And it's just like the topology file that you can just quickly copy and test stuff with. Nokia segment routing lab. That's quite cool. Did it download it now? Where is it? Ah, there we go. So it opened this up. So these devices are just using ISIS. Yada yada. I'm curious what the file looks like. SR1, parcel configs. That's quite cool. I might even just copy this and test it out as well. But not before we see if this Juniper works. We still have some time to wait. Well, maybe not. Oof, I think the password is admin at 123 or something. The nice thing is if we look at the kinds on their documentation again, containerlab.dev finds Juniper admin at 123, all lowercase. Come on, you just asked me for a password. Maybe switch 2 is a bit more cooperative. Nah, these things are still busy booting. Sorry, my throat is really so dry. Hang on a second. I just accidentally opened up my mail program. Not that I mind, but you never know. Although there's nothing cool that happens in my mail anyway. I get so many, what's it, like spam sponsorship emails that I just completely ignore. Because I don't get it, like, like, it's these weird gadgets from, like, from China, like, things that nobody, like, it has nothing to do with my audience even. Nobody that's, watching any of my things would be watching any of that. Or be interested in buying any of those products. So I'd really not shout out for like something that doesn't make any sense. Admin at 123. Are you still alive? Connection closed. Still booting. Is it? I wonder if it's legitimately going to take us 15 minutes. If I do a C-Lab inspect, what do we have? Running, unhealthy. You inspect further, detail. All right. Suppose we're just waiting the full 15 minutes. Well, it did say it was going to take a while. It did say that. "10 minutes. Let's try getting onto switch 1. Like, this would actually, although it's happened many times where I've had to wait for these Junipers to boot up when I do a Juniper lab. But imagine you're busy studying, and every time you want to, let's say you're doing it for your Juniper certifications, every time you want to bring up a lab to, you know, get your foundational knowledge, your skills ready to just make sure you fully comprehend what you're learning, and you need to like wait and wait and wait and wait. I guess it's a good excuse for just stand up and do something else while you wait for it to boot, because then you could just go drink something or make a coffee and just enjoy. Let's try again. Add 123. Come on, please. Post-quantum key exchange. Ooh. Permission denied, that's a bit better. Full 12 minutes later, still waiting. I almost think the VMX boots up quicker than this VGNOS switch, if I'm looking at this right. I'll have to try and boot up some VMXs as well, just to compare the time it takes. Let's do a fun little HTOP and see how much resources it's chowing. Not that much. But I did think the documentation showed us like 4.5. I think. So that looks about right for the memory usage. 12 gig out of 46. Come on, Junipers, you can do it. Man, this piano in the song's really good. I'm not sure if you guys can hear it, but it's really good. Really good song. Is this letting us connect yet? Doesn't appear, so... I feel like that SpongeBob meme, like 12 minutes later, 14 minutes later, eternity later. Hey, something happened? No, never mind. It was just saying it was dropped. Hello, can we log in yet? Be really nice if you let us log in. No. Let's try switch to... I'm surprised this Winbox session is still like just hanging on to whatever it saw last. Containers. Should be fine. Come on. I think we're getting there. Like, this is probably the most boring part of the stream, is just waiting for this Juniper to boot up. I mean, we waited a good few, like 10 minutes to just install the image into Containerlab. And then we're waiting what feels like it's going to be close to maybe 20 minutes. It's 16 minutes already. I'm sure there's some way you can monitor to see like what's actually happening with the container. Like kind of like a console connection, if you think about it. I'm just going to close all of these. Let's try an SSH from here. No. Shell. No, that doesn't do anything either. Oh. I've got a feeling this might have something to do with the nested virtualization. So there's a good chance it's not gonna work at all. But I'm pretty sure I've used a vSwitch in Eve, so I can't see why this wouldn't work. But those logs looks a bit concerning to me. Doesn't look like it's actually connecting. I don't think this is gonna boot. Which is a slight pity. I'll just give it 2 more minutes, and then if it doesn't boot, then we call it. And we call it. But very concerning logs. Let's go in there, SSH or CD. CLab, Juniper, CD, V, switch, CLab, inspect, SSH, admin at 172.20.22. Well, if it doesn't work, at least I learned something that that the VGNO switch doesn't work inside Containerlab on a VM like I'm running this on. It would probably work if this was on the bare metal or just this was the direct host. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to destroy them. They can be turned off. I can actually delete that container, and I can probably delete that file and just recover that space. Wow, my voice got really croaky there. So I do think I did want to play some Gothic as well, but since my voice is like breaking from being so dry, like my throat, I don't think I'm going to hang around to just force myself to play something. So I'll maybe stream it next week, but I'll definitely have another stream again next week, so Thursday. So feel free to tune in again then, guys. So I'm gonna shut down the stream now. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll catch you very, very soon. See ya.